This is the talk of Music City Real Estate.
Welcome back to another episode of the Talk of Music City Real Estate,
where we educate and motivate all things real estate.
My name is Monte Moore with Realty One Group Music City.
Hey, and I'm Carey Ann with CMG Financial and my mortgage team.
Every week we'll be posting a new episode chock full of Nashville real estate value.
Yes, and you can well, what could you do? You could follow along and subscribe at talkmusiccity.com.
Got a question for us? Ask away at questions@talkmusiccity.com. That's questions at talkmusiccity.com.
Look at me getting all tongue-tied this morning.
Oh, it's good to happen to a nicer person, Carey Ann.
Well, because I'm so excited, I wanted to get the show started.
I am too. We got some awesome guests here today.
In our house. Yes.
What's more important than the air that you breathe? Not many things, probably.
No.
So today we have some guests with us today from Green Home Solutions, Alissa Thompson and her main squeeze, Brian Thompson. So good to have you guys here with us today.
That though, it's my only squeeze.
I know
that's good to hear.
He was like, "Is she going to answer that?" Yeah. Too funny. Well, welcome, guys. Yeah. We're here. I'm really excited to have you with us today.
Yeah, I'm excited to hear about more about this clean air idea because, coincidentally today I was with some folks that are going to list their home, and they're obviously the air is not clean in that house, And right now we're dealing with a pending transaction, Blake and I are, regarding the buyer now determining that he wants to do a mold test because he's deathly ill allergic to black mold. So anyhow, it's kind of odd that suddenly these topics are coming to mind when we were going to get together today. I'm really grateful to make this acquaintance here.
Absolutely, no coincidence.
Well, indoor air quality is key. You might have something from a coughing standpoint, and you don't know why you're coughing. You may have, like a rash all of a sudden, that appeared and things like that. And as real estate agents and or, lenders who are watching, it's key to have great professionals that you can team up with that really can help you mediate, that concern. And we're excited to have you here.
I mean, I'm just finding out that 90% of our time is indoors, and it probably is, or it's a high percentage. Absolutely. So the air that you're breathing in there ought to be worthy of breathing. So let's talk about this. What got you guys interested in this topic, and why is this something that every realtor out there listening to right now needs to make sure they're in contact with as far as able to reach out to you guys?
Absolutely. You want to start off just by telling a little bit of our story?
Yeah, so I think for us, Green Home Solutions was really a good opportunity to help people. I personally have struggled with asthma the majority of my life. In addition to seasonal allergies, so spring, summer is really hard for me to enjoy. But I think, recognizing the potential for Green Home Solutions to be able to come in and identify what the allergens are in the air, what's causing issues with your indoor air quality, and help to remediate any issues that may exist. So underlying issues like moisture in the air, and then just kind of come up with the right plan of action to address the indoor air quality. So it's about helping people, but then for me personally, it obviously is something that really hits home for me because it's something I've struggled with.
Yeah. That's huge. I mean, having a business that connects to your heart, and really makes a difference, on how you serve people too, right? Sure. And so that's kind of a cool thing. It's interesting. Many of us buy real estate. And they could be fancy houses. They could be, this house or that. It could be new or resale, et cetera, et cetera. You just don't know what you're buying. And many of us didn't do inspections, many for an entire year, right? And we're doing those now. But I will tell you, in my own home, I have a nice, fun bathroom that I have not used in an entire year. Okay, it's in the master because the stone was never cured or sealed or whatever. So every time I took a shower, black mold would grow on these beautiful stones, et cetera, right? Oh, wow. And so you just don't know as real estate agents when you're selling people these amazing, magical homes that there could be issues. And who do you go to? Like if I knew you, a year ago, we probably would be,
using your shower.
Using my shower, right? I literally walk across the entire house and take a shower in a different room in the home. It's kind of crazy. But that's great information to know. Having somebody that's a go-to person that can really help make a difference is key.
So Alissa, tell us about, from a real estate professional standpoint, tell us from your heart, why is this such an important part should be an important part of our world in the real estate industry.
Absolutely. So, from a seller's standpoint, when you're sitting down with them, having that initial listing appointment, I mean, when you walk in the door, you kind of have a pretty good idea,
Right.
is this, how's this property going to do kind of out of the gate? And so
Well, your first impressions is that smell.
first impressions, you walk through the door and, I mean, before you notice anything, but when you're taking your shoes off at the front door, you are smelling what is in their home
You're breathing.
what you're breathing. And so at the source of every odor is a bacteria, and sometimes it's unseen. And so being able to identify what the bacteria is, and then being able to have a customized treatment to address that bacteria, which is what ultimately it eliminates the odor. And so we can do that quickly, and we can do that safely. And I love that all of our products, not just our odor products, but all of our products are enzyme-based, so they're plant-based, and they're safe for people, pets, and the environment, or like the 3 Ps, the planet, people, and pets.
That's becoming such a more and more exciting topic, as I may say exciting, a relevant topic as far as it being something that's safe in its ingredients. Most people don't know this, but the 90% of the shampoos out there on the market, as an example, are made of carcinogenic ingredients.
Right.
There's a reason why that the people putting those ingredients together are dressed in a rubber suit and rubber boots and goggles and the whole thing, and you're going to put that on your hair. It's because it's made out of carcinogenic ingredients. So
Absolutely.
I'm really sensitive to the fact that what you're talking about isn't talking about pouring bleach on it, which only
It actually makes mold worse.
Well, and
It
it's
actually
just
makes
changing
mold
one
worse.
problem with another problem.
Absolutely.
probably.
You're adding chemicals. And what a lot of people don't know about bleach is that once the chemical within bleach has been absorbed, what do you have? Because it's like 60% water, you actually have more moisture. And so bleach actually furthers, when it's on a porous surface, it actually furthers mold growth.
Wow.
It does not eliminate mold growth because you've added more moisture to the problem. Same thing with, I hate to use the word cat pee, but I mean, animal urine. There's all different kinds of chemicals within animal urine that you're trying to address. And so you can't just come in and dump a bunch of bleach on it and hope that it goes away, because those chemicals are responding and they're interacting. And so by using a plant-based solution, so everything that we're doing is science-based, and also too, something that's really near and dear to our hearts is that everything is manufactured here in the United States.
Awesome.
Woo! Can
Awesome.
we get a crowd applause?
Yeah.
there?
Yeah. Woo woo.
That's
so-
super important.
Yes, there it is. So
I mean, I can tell you, I can't tell you how many times over the years when a home was determined to have some sort of mold going on underneath it, that the people just went out and got their handyman and sprayed some Clorox on it.
It's really just not
That's kind of alarming to hear that.
I know. It's really not the answer. And the cool part about it is that, we're doing it quickly. We can usually get in and out in 2 days or less. Sometimes that's not the case, but I would say 80% of the time we're in and out in 2 days or less. Sometimes that's a 1 day, like an 8-hour, treatment. But people can come back into their homes within 2 to 3 hours of treatment, so they're not having to leave their homes for days or weeks or what have you.
Awesome.
And so, so it's safe for people. It's fast and it's very affordable. We're typically 50 to 60% less than our next competitor.
Really?
Wow.
And do you have a lot of competitors that are in the plant-based green space?
Very few. Very few. And the ones that claim to be in the plant-based space use such a small portion that they're not addressing the root of the situation, or addressing the root cause. And so you can come in and kind of do these treatments and
It just piles up,
there you
right?
go. You're coming back. So our goal is to not have to come back. And we actually do post-treatment tests, and they're done with a third party. Brian can kind of speak to some of the, the science-based stuff. He's the brain. And but so we come back and we do a post test. It's done by a third party. So we send that off, and we're basically testing to see how successful we were. And if there's something that hasn't been addressed, we're going to come back out. We're going to take care of whatever it was for free at no additional charge.
Amazing. As a lender, and it's really important for all real estate agents to know that the appraiser, when going in the home, if there's any standing water at any time in the crawl space. If they see one speck of anything that could look like mold, it is an automatic need to be fixed, right, immediately. And so having a go-to person
Put the brakes on it right there,
can fix it, but fix it the right way, like you're referencing, right? So it's not something that your clients are going to call you back about going, I thought this was fixed, and it just was just a Band-Aid, for the next time it rains or the next time, there's an issue. So that is really good.
Absolutely.
So let's talk about how do we, possibly we have mold. I referenced clearly I've got lots of it. Clearly I'm going to be your biggest, you're coming in my whole house. We're fixing all
So you got to replace your windows because of that,
We're
right?
going to be best friends.
Oh, you're right. I was growing mushrooms too. Yeah.
Oh, man.
I had it all happening in this house. It's an awesome home.
Man,
It really
you're like
is.
you are the perfect client, Carey Ann.
Come on
We
in.
didn't plan this. We so did not plan this.
I've got goosebumps. I'm excited. I'm going to be able to use my shower here eventually one of these days.
Absolutely.
But you came up with this great form here, 15 easy ways to reduce mold. So name a few. That would be a quick way for the average Joe to reduce mold in their home.
So there were a few that we were really kind of shocked by that I thought were just really neat. Did you want to share a couple of them?
Well, I was just going to say one of them. Moisture is the enemy,
Right.
for indoor air quality.
Right.
And in Middle Tennessee, so many homes are on crawl spaces,
Right.
and air that is introduced into your crawl space is indefinitely going to come into the living area, and so that's where we need to address that sort of root problem, and the root problem is the moisture that's in the air. So, dehumidification is really important. You can go and purchase a dehumidifier at a local hardware store for just a couple $100s, but that can make such a huge difference in your indoor air quality. Keeping your indoor air humidity below 40% is really kind of ideal for preventing in any sort of major indoor air issues. So, for us, that's really kind of a big one.
Would you put that in the crawl space or in my living space? That humidifier?
Yeah. So ideally, if you want to go out and spend $15,000 or $20,000 on a full crawl space encapsulation, that would be great.
Fixes it.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
However, it's $15,000 or $20,000 in a space that's not in your immediate living space. So you can choose to take that path. You can actually address the indoor air quality issues from the air that is introduced into your living space without a full encapsulation. Now, you may have to go back and treat after a certain number of years.
Yeah.
Could be years, though.
Yeah.
Literally years.
If you choose not to go the couple $100 dehumidifier route and really dry that air out as it comes into the home.
You know that you say this is all making sense now. Do you know that there's not a fan in that shower bathroom?
That's
Okay,
added
and
to it.
that's on our list.
So as a real estate agent selling me a fancy house or whatever house, right, to think about, is there a fan, or looking at new construction, right, they put the fan in the bathroom, not in the shower room, right? And so that's the reason why that mold is growing so big, because you have to take that out of there. Yeah. So good stuff.
You asked me the question, which one are a couple of our favorites, and we're willing to share this. We've actually got some extras that we're willing to leave behind, and we can email this and share this in whatever way. But some of these sort of, I guess, surprised me. So I like a surprise.
Yeah.
So I'll share the ones this one, clear clutter in closets and cabinets, because air circulation, if you don't have circulating air, mold is much more likely to, when there is moisture, mold is much more likely to start growing. It will grow more quickly. So
if you are a hoarder, this could be a problem. There's mold somewhere.
You got some mold. You got some mold going on. So that one was interesting. So closets and cabinets. So you kind of think oh, it's behind a cabinet. Just kind of put it in there. But the more air circulation you have,
that makes sense.
You just mentioned a good one, which was run your bathroom fans while you're taking a shower, and then 15 minutes after each shower.
And keeping bathroom doors closed while you're showering.
Yes.
Which was surprising to us. Again, to isolate the humidity with a solution to remove the moisture from the air.
So it's
which
not
is
going
the
into your
exhaust fan.
bedroom, into your closet.
Right.
Oh, right.
What about this one? An average mattress at home has got 5 to 10 million dust mites. Holy cow!
And
That's
guess
always
what?
everyone's favorite.
That's everybody's fave. And guess what? I mean, guys, they leave behind their stuff.
Oh, you mean they're
That's gross.
yeah, really?
which
How long are you supposed to keep a mattress for?
5 minutes? It looks like.
Yeah. So, they say replace every 8. Brian and I are like, we're thinking like
8 what,
it's
months?
Years. They say
Oh.
replace every 8, but they say, how much weight does a mattress gain in 8 years?
I don't remember the numbers.
It was like 25 or 30
it-
pounds.
Yeah, it almost doubles in
of
weight.
dead mites.
Yeah.
It was crazy. Yes.
You know,
of
5 to 10 million of them are going to weigh a couple
Yeah,
pounds.
but we actually have, y'all, we have a treatment for that.
Really?
Yes, we have a treatment for that because dust mites and their matter, we'll use matter because it's more podcast friendly. But if my kids were here, they'd be dropping some poop bombs. But yeah, dust mites and their matter are a huge indoor allergen cause. And so we can get rid of all of that. We can do mattress treatments with our enzyme-based products and we'll change your life. So it's a really cool
So
option.
that's what I was curious about also is, so what does it look like? You guys have come into a house, we as real estate professionals, or maybe our own home, like Carey Ann's talking about, we notice there's some things that it just feels like it is out of whack. So do you come in and do an air test, or what does it look like?
Yeah, so it starts with physical assessment. So we'll come out and actually inspect all the living spaces. If we feel like there's an issue in the crawl space, we'll get down in the crawl space and check out, see if anything's going on, standing water, anything like that. And then we actually do an air sampling, and we'll take an air sample on a little diskette that is actually, it draws at 15 milliliters of air per minute for 5 minutes. And then
Now,
we'll
is that
take,
in the house or under the house?
yeah, it's in the house in areas that we suspect there are issues,
Okay.
areas that are kind of like where you're kind of most commonly having problems. And then we'll actually take a sample outside just as a baseline to see the exterior air, obviously away from any sort of busy roads because the exhaust fumes and all that can cause issues with the results. But ultimately, that will give us an idea of what we're dealing with from a scientific level. We will be able to put together a specific plan to treat your house. Obviously, if there are clear issues with moisture or any sort of allergen creating things, pets or anything like that, then we might have suggestions around those specifically. So we want to address, again, the root cause, the moisture issues that may be causing the mold. And then once we can get those corrected, we then put together a treatment plan with our proprietary solutions. So we'll actually come in and scrub down all the surfaces with our primary solution, which kills mold at the root. Unlike a lot of other solutions that basically, mold is essentially like a dandelion. Most solutions will kill the spore of the mold but leave the hyphal fragments, which are the stem and the root system behind.
Wow.
So our solution actually absorbs in and wipes it out, but we don't want to leave dead mold behind because dead mold's just as bad for you from an allergy level standpoint as living mold. So we'll come in, we'll actually wipe it down, HEPA vac it, and then we will spray an electrostatically charged mist that will go out and stick to all surfaces and absorb into porous surfaces, and then again start attacking the root system of the mold.
And it can reach areas that non-traditional, remediation protocols cannot.
It must be a heck of a vacuum.
Well, this is the spray.
Yeah, that's
But I'm saying they're just that HEPA
the
vacuum.
HEPA
It must
oh
be.
man, these
must be
things
a
are
heck of a-
these things are amazing.
So does that stain or destroy, let's say there's mold on paint or, you have a really fancy, quartz thing, countertop or something?
No, the only complaints that we've heard about are a little bit of tackiness left on non-porous surfaces, so tiles. But that can all be wiped down once it dries and settles.
Okay, so you can wash it off.
But you can spray it on a wood surface, drywall, no signs of it after it dries completely.
Okay, that's good to know.
And something else too that he might have been going here with it is that the solution is catalytic, and that means that it doesn't stop working; it continues to work.
Wow.
So it actually makes the environment hostile to future mold growth. So like something else. So it lyses the mold spore. So literally it makes the environment hostile to continued mold growth. So once the mold is gone, any new mold that tries to come along, it's making the that solution has been proven. I think Harvard did a study.
Yep.
There's two, University of Dallas and another university that did studies, and they proved it to be catalytic in that it literally could not continue to live in that environment. So it continues to work even after the mold is gone and new mold tries to come along. So it's powerful. This is just huge. This is really exciting stuff.
Yeah.
Nobody else is doing this.
Just earlier today, I was talking to one of our agents about our toxic environment, just in general. I mean, I recently went to a doctor and found out that I've got a high levels of mercury and lead in my system.
Is this a functional medicine doctor?
Yeah. Yeah. And that was like, whoa, where did I get that? But it's just part of it just because of the toxic environment that we live in. And if we're going to be able to isolate any portion of that light, obviously we can't do that outside. But if truly when you think about it, how much am I inside? That really should be a priority, I guess.
Yeah, we figured out a couple of years ago that the air that we breathe, it matters. It's important.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm excited to know more about this. I really am, especially just since today alone. There's been multiple clients that have, one being deadly allergic to black mold. Of course, I think we'd all probably be allergic to black mold, aren't we? We just may not know about it. Our bodies may not be reacting that much.
Yeah, some people are more allergic to mold than others.
When I had that rash, they did all those tests, and I wasn't allergic to mold.
Oh, really?
So, I was like, well, maybe it's mold in my house type of thing. So it's interesting where, everybody has,
their
a
tolerance.
trigger.
Their
trigger.
tolerance level.
Sure.
Yeah.
I know for a fact a lot of our sicknesses are because of the environment that we're in.
For sure.
There's no question
what
about
we
that.
eat, what we breathe,
Yep.
all the things, This was interesting. Do not sleep with wet hair.
Y'all.
Interesting.
I mean, there's a huge, we've got a huge story about this. They had gone in, tried to figure out this little girl was very sick. These are some counterparts of ours up in Roanoke, Virginia, and
It was the daughter of a doctor.
yes, a daughter. I think they were an internal, or he was a functional medicine doctor. And they were like, she's allergic to mold. We don't know where the mold is. So they kind of went in, they did everything that they could. They came back, could not find the mold. I mean, they were just doing everything that they could. And then they came back again. I think it was the third trip back, and they were doing another treatment and really just some additional exploratory work for no additional money because, they're just going to make it right. We're just going to make it right. And one of the technicians picked up the little girl's pillow, and her pillow was wet. And he asked the dad. He said, "Can I cut this pillow open?" And they cut the pillow open. It was full of black mold.
You're kidding
me. It was
me.
because she had gone to sleep every single night with wet hair.
The cow.
So don't sleep with wet hair.
This is where the light bulb is going off on the parent that has a child that's been battling something. So guess who's cutting open a pillow tonight?
Right?
I mean, that's crazy.
See what's in there. So it's little things like that. We want to be able to help people, and maybe it's not something where we're coming in and treating the whole home. Maybe it's just ways that we can help you.
Education. Yeah,
absolutely. Just
awesome.
educating people in ways to prevent mold and improve indoor air quality in ways that they can control.
Well, who knew the new closing gift could be a humidifier
Boom.
or dehumidifier, right?
So are you
That
cleaning
thing.
the ductwork as well?
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
So we don't intend to out of the gate. If there is a need to do that as part of the treatment plan, we have a partner franchise in Chattanooga that's mentioned that they'll let us rent their equipment from them. So if we need to go in and clean the ductwork, we will. I think long term we probably will purchase our own equipment. It's not necessarily the top priority for us out of the gate.
Sure.
But you don't realize that sometimes we have to change those filters on a regular basis. Like sometimes it could just be that, and that's what our air conditioning is pushing all that air out.
How big a factor are animals in the house? I've got two.
Pretty big factor.
They sleep on, right now probably, Connie and I started covering our bed up and our pillows and stuff because they will find their way up there, you know.
Yeah, and people just aren't willing to get rid of their pets. I mean,
No,
pets.
we're not gonna do
you know,
that.
we're most of us are in a place where pets are a family member. I
Right.
mean, it'd be like losing a family member. And so, so the goal is to, number one, if you have pets, and this is on this list, you need to be dusting more than you would be dusting anyway. So if you aren't a duster, you need to hire somebody to come in and professionally clean your house. You need to be dusting. Dust is a source of food for mold.
Really?
And so, so you need to be dusting, but
Gotta
also
clean more, Monte. We gotta get our dust on.
There you go. Get your dust on, and then we can come in and reset the air. We can come in and reset the environment. And if you were to do that a couple of times a year, you would absolutely see a huge improvement in the amount of dander, the amount of dust, and everything. So there is absolutely a way you can deal with that without getting rid of the pets. I mean, we've got 3 dogs ourselves. We're those crazy people. So, same situation for us.
This has been great information.
Yeah, I'm excited about have you guys come out and test our house. I really am. I think that we don't give sometimes enough credit as to health issues based on the environment that we're subjecting ourselves into. I know I've been into eating right and nutrition for a long time, but this whole experience now that I've got lead and mercury in my system makes me scratch my head and say, what the hell, I guess I need to dig a little further than just eat right and take lots of vitamins that I do every day.
Over the last couple of years, we've been, COVID this and COVID that.
Yeah.
We forget that just your average mold can do sometimes as much damage, and so really focusing on clean air, clean homes, and really making a difference out there is key. So how does one get a hold of you guys if they're interested in learning more?
So the best way to get in touch with us is to call us, and that number is 615-380-4222, 615-380-4222. And we've got our website, greenhomesolutions.com. And then if you want to add on to that, you can do greenhomesolutions.com/middle-Tennessee.
Very good. Very good. Well, such a pleasure having
Thank you, guys.
with us. I can't wait for you to come into my house and fix it all up and get me back on track.
Excited.
Thank you for joining us. You've been listening to the talk of Music City Real Estate.